One of the things I love about music and I love about songs is they usually tell a story, don't they? So it's either a story of, I don't know, some big victory that's won, or it's a story of some sort of, I'm going to overcome the world, or it's a story of finding love, or it's a story of having your heart broken. Probably one of the most famous ones from the last couple of years is that Adele song, Never Mind, I'll Find Someone Like You. And she just tells the whole story of how she kind of, yeah, we know it, but I could sing it to you. No, okay. But songs tell stories, and here in Isaiah we have a song that's telling a story. It's a song of the vineyard, and it's Isaiah singing it about the one he loves and about his vineyard. And God is the one who has the vineyard, and the vineyard is represented by Israel. But in the story, the guy gets the vineyard, he digs it up, he makes a wine press, he puts a wall around it, he does everything you do if you want the vineyard to thrive. You put all the work into it, and at the end of that, he comes and all he finds is grapes, bad grapes. There's no good fruit that comes out of this vineyard. And it's a picture of how God took Israel. They were nobody. They were slaves in Egypt. He gave them the best. He gave them a land. He protected them with his presence. He put his gave his law to them so they knew how to live. He did everything, and at the end of it, they've yielded nothing but bad grapes. And as we read the prophets, we're going to see destruction and judgment in a lot of places that's prophesied over this nation, but also over the people of Israel. And the question that's worth considering, even as we read these passages, are, I think, the verse from chapter 4. What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it? Even as we read the destruction of Israel, and we feel for them, I certainly do, when you read about all the things that are going to happen and how they're going to be leaderless and, humiliated in so many ways. It is also worth just remembering that question, what more could God have done for the people of Israel? I mean, he literally saved them from slavery through a whole load of miracles and stuff like that. He parted the Red Sea. He gave them manna and water that came out of a rock. He let them live for 40 years in the wilderness, despite the fact they ended up worshipping a golden calf straight away. Then he gave them a land. Then he gave them rulers. Then he protected them whenever they cried to him for help, and he kept saving them every time, even though they wandered off all the time. He sent prophets and messengers to tell them how to live, how to live, how to live. And at the end of all of that, they've still turned away. This is God's song and God's story about how he has had his heart broken. And as a response to that, he's come to a point where he's going to have to withdraw for a time from this relationship with Israel.